dark. You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life feels normal, just hold me. Just hold me. Just hold me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just hold me. Just hold me. Just hold me. Just hold me.
From the twists and turns of the Suzuka circuit to Talladega Superspeedway, the long, fast, high banks here in Alabama. We are ready to begin the second half of the season here for the SCL Grand National Series right here tonight. Good evening, everybody. My name is Frank Marchese. Thank you very much for making us a part of your evening. Alongside me, my broadcast partner, Zach Woods. Zach, we saw a great race at Suzuka last week. Very, very interesting. So nice to see these cars getting to run around that racetrack again. But now we're going to see something that these guys are a little bit more familiar with. High-speed left turn.
Yeah, absolutely. These drivers are rip-roaring and ready to go tonight in some Gen 4 action. I'm super excited to be up here in the booth with you, Frank, covering their Grand National division. I've been privileged now to do back-to-back-to-back SCL broadcasts. So if you're joining us tonight once again, just know that we're going to be covering some names that you've heard over the last two nights, but also some names that are unique to the Grand National Series. Really excited to bring this one to you.
Yep, absolutely. It is going to be a fun night here. And one of, if not the first, Gen 4 Super Speedway races that I've actually covered here with SRM. And we talk about it all the time with the ARCA cars, how difficult it is to bump draft here because the bumpers don't line up, and iRacing hasn't put the Super Speedway model for these cars in the sim. Tonight is going to be more of the same. It's going to be very, very tempting, but very, very difficult to bump draft, especially with how much more horsepower you have in this ARCA body style.
Yeah, absolutely. With the runs that these guys are going to get in this version of this generation of NASCAR stock car, it's a lot of fun for a driver, right? You kind of feel like Superman out there getting these runs and making sure that you have to temper your excitement with the reality of, if I try to lift somebody, I will literally lift somebody off the racetrack. That familiar saying of, I'm just going to get underneath you and push you. Well, that might actually become a reality tonight at Talladega. So you got to be careful. Those front ends work a lot more like shovels than you think.
It has a great chance to do just that. And as we are, again, getting set to go, beginning the second half of this season, we had a great run through the first half of the season. I was able to cover a couple of races, which was a lot of fun to be able to get back in and do this. But the second half of the season is going to be very, very good, very, very technical as well. Chicagoland coming up next week, then the short track of Richmond, Las Vegas, North Wilkesboro, and Atlanta. This is going to be a difficult little second half of the season to get these guys to the championship.
Yeah, absolutely. It's no cakewalk, right? And it all starts here at a track where anybody can win, right? That's the big story at Talladega, where kind of the underdogs of the field feel like they have a chance, and then we're right back to the grind when it comes to technical racetracks, tracks that demand a lot out of the drivers. Not saying that this doesn't demand a lot out of a driver. It certainly does in terms of patience and being able to manipulate the air in front of you, but it's a lot different in terms of what we're going to be covering later on in the Grand National Series as their season carries along.
Absolutely, and it's not marked, or at least I don't see it, whether or not it's going to be the new or the old Atlanta. Certainly the old Atlanta would fit these cars a little bit more, but the new Atlanta certainly much more like a Talladega. As we're getting set to flip on over into the qualifying session. 29 drivers are here tonight, which means we will go straight into the main race, as we are waiting to see who is going to be the first one to roll out. And it looks as though last week's third place finisher, Derek Wegman, in the number 39, is going to be the first one to roll out onto the racetrack.
Yeah, and it's certainly a whole different set of techniques, right? Making sure that you are smooth here on the qualifying run. A lot of people, when they come to a track like Talladega, they just throw qualifying away. They go, well, I can make up a whole bunch of time in the race and it doesn't really matter. Well, here on iRacing, you could very well be giving up a premium pit stall here, and that will mean a lot if this thing goes green. So you want to try really hard to get that number one pit stall on pit road here during qualifying. And as you're going to see here on the racetrack, these drivers have to get the car wound up before they get to the start-finish line.
Yep, and you might see these guys and girls, as we see Lilith Peters on track right now, might see them do this for the first two laps, for the out lap, and then on the first lap, some drivers deciding to go to the bottom immediately, others taking the wide line. Looks like Lilith Peters is going to be taking the wide line as she takes the green flag on her qualifying run.
I had faith in you, Frank, and
I knew I was going to get there. I just didn't know how long it was going to take.
But certainly not as long as these lap times, right, that we're going to experience here around Talladega tonight. These drivers are going to be traveling very quickly, but at a track this large, it will take some time to make their way around the racetrack. That doesn't mean you need to take forever and a day on pit road, however. Managing your track position and going down pit road later on with friends is going to be a big topic of discussion as we carry on through this race.
Absolutely. So you see Lilith Peters deciding to go one way. Here's Jason Foskey in that Cartoon Network number 29 car, which I believe in 1997 was driven by Robert Presley, this particular paint scheme, deciding to run the bottom.
Yeah, and you have to keep a steady wheel, try to get on that yellow as much as you can all the way around, and try not to clip where it transitions from banking to the apron, because once you do, especially in these Gen 4s, you will be around very, very quickly. That apron is unforgiving down there.
Fastest man in qualifying so far is this man, the number 2 of Todd Merkel, a 51.71. Next closest is David Hanna at a 51.77. So Todd Merkel looking to defend his pole time here. Did go a little bit quicker on the first half of the lap this time around. We'll see what he can do on the second half. And Merkel will. He will go 0.02 of a second quicker, a 51.69 as Greg Birch goes up to second quickest. Now Jonathan Casebeer.
Yeah, Todd last night was able to get his first win in SCL competition through a myriad of events. If you are planning on taking a look in our archive about that race, I'm not gonna tell you how it. Well, I'm not. He did win. Hey, we talked about it. Victory Lane. He took it, and he took it with pride, man. It was such a fun Victory Lane celebration with Todd last night, because he's been working at it for a long time. He's definitely riding a ton of momentum. 2 consecutive podium finishes for him in SCL competition. Looking to make it 3 this week.
Todd, I apologize for my broadcast partner trying to cheapen your race win.
Wow.
Fantastic job.
He knows I would never.
See, Josh Jarrett Hill did not get a valid first lap, or actually working on his first lap now. This is the fun part about Talladega as far as timing and scoring goes. The start-finish line is beyond pit exit, so it trips the timing line. As far as the lap counter, is Barrett Flo done with his laps, done in 12th.
Sounds like somebody was trying to cheapen Josh Jarrett Hill's first lap around the racetrack, but I mean, we'll save that for another day. So, Josh Jarrett Hill looking to make his way through the tri-oval. Something of note, Frank, is that this racetrack, although it is shaped like a Daytona, the start-finish line is not where we are so accustomed to seeing on traditional ovals with the tri-oval inclusion. It's not in the middle of that tri-oval. It is, in fact, further on down past the tri-oval. We've seen a lot of passes for the win take place between where we think the start-finish line would be and where it actually is.
Well, if you ever wanted confirmation as to whether or not the broadcasters listen to each other, you just found it right there, and the answer is no. As we get set to go for the grid here tonight, Taylor Leskoski with a time of 51.648 will take pole here tonight. Justin Lewis comes up 0.04 of a second short here in row number 1. Todd Merkel and Zachary Archer will make up row number 2. Jason Crumley and Wesley Hoag will, apologies, if somebody in the chat knows the last name and could give a pronunciation guide, that would be fantastic. That will be row 3. Jonathan Casebeer and Justin Horton will make up row number 4 with Chris Vanderplatz and Greg Birch in row number 5. David Hanna and Barrett Flo will make up row number 6. Chad Jones and Michael Matta in row number 7. Todd Willis and Jason Foskey in row 8. Row 9 will see Lilith Peters and Gary Ragland with Derek Wegman and Josh Yarborough making up the top 20.
Bruno Latour will roll off 21st tonight, followed by the boss man of SCL competition, Josh Jarrett Hill. Kendall Kraft, who is rolling off 23rd, followed by Kevin West in that 47 machine. 25th will be Jarrett Bolyard, rookie out there in that 830 machine tonight. And he's followed by Will Salamone there in the 43. They'd be able to spot that car very quickly here in this field. Ollie Marston is coming off of a qualifying effort that will put him 27th, side by side with Shane O'Neill in the 240 machine. And that will be the totality of the field tonight, as some of those drivers in the back are placed not via time, but via their iRating. So definitely excited for this one. It looks like we are going to have a extended pacing period, so it's not going to be our traditional 1 lap and going green. It's going to be 2 laps to green.
Thank you very much for that. As we'll take a look at the weather conditions here for tonight's race. We are just about past 1:45 p.m. in sim time. 5-mile-an-hour winds, 75-degree ambient temperature, 82-degree track temperature. However, you see it is very, very gray and very, very cloudy here today at Talladega. That is going to make this racetrack very, very grippy as the race goes on.
Yeah, as if these drivers didn't feel like superheroes enough, right? With the runs that you get in these Gen 4 machines. Now it's going to be even more amplified because of the cloud cover. You're going to be able to run out here with a ton of grip as the race wears on. And I'm excited to bring it all to our friends out there in YouTube land. Just know, here for SCL competition, even in their Grand National Series, they do have an incident count, and that has played into multiple races we have covered here on Sim Racing Media. So something that the viewer needs to be aware of, every 21 X's, every 21 incident points that these drivers get, it will require them to go down pit road for a drive-through penalty. And then the DQ incident limit is 29. So not a far jump at all between when you're going down pit road and when you have to call it a day. So just something for these drivers to keep in mind as the race wears on. You need to behave. It's 60 laps here around Talladega, and those points can accrue very quickly, even with one fast repair tonight.
Yep, absolutely. And especially around a racetrack like Talladega, where if one person somewhere or on the racetrack doesn't even need to be around you, makes a mistake, it is very, very easy to get caught up in it. As we are working on the first of our 2 pace laps here tonight, as we talk about the strategy of, do you want to start in the back or do you want to race in the back? Do you want to qualify up front? Do you want to race up front? I would have to assume if you're a guy like Taylor Laskowski, who is qualified on pole, has the bottom lane, has the preferred line in these cars around this racetrack, you would tend to want to stay up front. But we may see that strategy change for guys like Todd Merkel, Zachary Archer, Jonathan Casebeer. Those guys very well might go to the back and try to run this race out.
Yeah, absolutely. And in a series where points matter a lot when it comes to how you finish and where you finish, you know, there's no stage points to be had, so you don't have to run this thing as hard as you can right away. If you're more comfortable hanging out in the back, you can certainly afford to do that. So these drivers definitely are going to be working on their own agenda tonight. But yeah, Frank, if if I qualified pole, you betcha I'm going to stay up front for as long as I can.
Now, I've played both strategies, and I've had about a 40% success rate with both of them. But it has seemed later, I don't know what it is about the cars or whether it's the tires, staying up front does kind of seem to be the way to go, especially recently in recent builds here on iRacing.
Yeah, if you can stay up there and be ahead of all the mayhem, it's obviously safer. It just depends on how far back in the field you want to travel. If you're okay with losing the first draft, that's all right, but you got to make sure that there's enough friends that have that same strategy too, right? If you're by yourself all the way in the back, you can go a lap down pretty quickly here. So not a position that these drivers want to be in, so you got to manage that well. I'm very curious to see who migrates towards the front and who's just okay with hanging around in the back for a little while.
See, a guy like Josh Tarrant-Hill, I believe, just took an EOL penalty. Another common thing that we see in these races around Talladega are the drivers that do take the EOLs to get to the back. The car that's currently not showing up, and I've done a couple of texture resets here. That is Chris Vanderplat's in that blank machine. I can't see it. Zach, I hope you can.
I cannot. So
Okay.
he's also blank on my end. So
Which is good because he's the only blank car, so we know who it is. We don't have to guess.
yes, it's a good spot to be in. So the ghost car, if you will.
Might as well take it as we are getting set to go green flag racing here at Talladega. The pace car is off. Going to have to wait a moment for the Geico restart zone coming out the backside of the tri-oval. Taylor Laskowski and Justin Lewis on the front row as we are getting set to go 65 laps here at Talladega Superspeedway. We are green.
Side by side for as far as the eye can see, and it's going to stay like that for a long while as these drivers are looking to get the edge on one another here going into turn one. It's a dead heat right now. Let's see who gets the better push coming out of turn two.
Todd Merkel was all over the back of Taylor Laskowski as the outside line got a very good run on the start, but once they got into turn number one, it was the bottom, the 375 and the 2 that got the run and got them nosed out ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. And these drivers, you have to be patient. It's so hard early on in the race to get your bearings just simply because you are comfortable racing around certain people, but that doesn't mean you qualified next to them. So you have to find where your friends are right now and get comfortable in a hurry.
Justin Lewis and Zach Archer leading that outside line, the 07 and the 38. As I believe it was Justin Lewis that led that lap. The opening go around here is the 80. That would appear to be of Justin Crumley, leaving quite a big gap between himself and the 2.
Yeah, and it just really depends on what kind of driver you are, Frank, when it comes to plate racing. Some drivers are way more comfortable being the one that leads a line. A guy like Justin Lewis is doing that very well right now. I know for me personally, I hate being in the position where Crumley is right now. You're the third car in line. You can't push the pusher. You just kind of feel useless. And if you're the one that gets all the blame because you're not being aggressive enough.
I'm also not really a fan of being where Crumley is, mainly because I'm not a fan of people driving in front of me and me having to back off and let them kind of do what they're going to do and hope that they can drag me up. However, Taylor Laskowski and Justin Lewis do not have that problem, and again, we see it so often, and we saw it on Monday night in the current gen cars. Outside line is the big deal around here. However, that big 64 of Justin Horton going to the middle. These cars, the outside line is not the preferred lane. It's a different style of driving.
Yeah, absolutely. And being able to be patient there on the outside lane is what's going to pay dividends the further this race goes. So the more they get three wide and the more they get all jumbled up there, it's going to be even more difficult for Justin Lewis to hang out on the outside.
He's hanging out, though, quite nicely, keeping somewhat close. Falling back a little bit, but is getting a nice run as Zachary Archer pushing him. Nobody up here at the front has bailed out. Now, there are a group of drivers that have decided to fan out, and at 64 really trying to make something happen. Now he's going to get shuffled out and fall towards the back of the line instead of being able to gain a spot.
Well, I think that 038 had a job to do there. Look at him. He's doing it again. He's making it three wide. It's the 038 of Wesley Hogue. We'll say Hogue for now. And if anybody down in the comments can correct us, that'd be great. But yeah, he's done that move twice, being a little ambitious already early, making it three wide. 4 wide.
That was the 64 that made it 3 wide earlier on, right around this time last lap, and now it's the 038 getting a little bit of revenge on him, getting up to being that second car in line as gets a good push, does Justin Lewis from that 038, able to drop down in front of that bottom line. Justin Lewis hanging out on that outside line, works out for him, gets up to the front.
He said, nope, I'm not going to let you get underneath me. Ooh, look at there, a little block that's going to cause the 375 to dip below the yellow line, but I think it was forced down there, so no harm, no foul.
Gonna have to get a little argy-bargy at some point here, but that's now cost those guys at least 3 positions as Hogue and Michael Matta have pushed out in front, 3 wide behind. That's Barrett Flo leading the outside lane, Justin Lewis leading the inside, the middle lane, pardon me, and Laskowski leading the inside.
Earlier Monday night, we saw Michael Matta be the best pusher around when it came to anybody being in front of him. Him and Justin Lewis worked really, really well together, and I think we're going to see that 16 rise to the top again when it comes to guys you want to work with.
Laskowski moving to the middle lane in that 375. That forces the 07 of Justin Lewis, and last week's winner, Kevin West, out to that high lane, up in front of Barrett Flo and the 29 of Jason Foskey. 71 of Bruno Latour. Getting a little wiggly there in the middle. He's moved up quite a bit, up 15 spots from where he started.
Yeah, these drivers are working very well together right now. And don't want to say a whole lot as Barrett Flo scuffs the wall there out of turn 4. No harm, no foul there.
There is Barrett Flo in that number 92. Starting to work his way towards the back. There's the 51 of Greg Birch. He was up towards the front. He was about the 4th car in line on the outside. He's moved his way back, and so is Jason Foskey. As that outside line, the 07 and the 47 still trying to make it work, but it's Wesley Hogue right now still out in front.
Something we really haven't mentioned yet, Frank, is the pros and cons of where you are in line. That 038, nobody in front of him, so he's got the peace of mind, right? But he's also got the worst fuel mileage in that Oreo machine. So just have to manage how long are you willing to stay in front of a group, because the more you do, the less fuel you have.
Jason Crumley down there on that bottom line in that mellow yellow number 80. Getting a little bit squirrely, moving up a little bit, coming out of turn 4. Outside line's hanging in there, but the bottom line certainly does still have the numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. And for the drivers that are hanging out right now in the middle lane, they said, you know what, this is all the higher we wanted to race, right? I don't want anybody to my outside. It's really awkward staying here 3 wide middle and not making up any time. Those drivers there are just sort of kind of stuck.
Again, the good news is this track is plenty wide enough for these guys to do what they're doing and do it fairly comfortably as well. Lilith Peters starting to work her way up in the 101 machine. She's up 7 spots from where she started. Kevin West up 16. Michael Matta plus 12 running in second place right now. Biggest movers of the race. So
some of these drivers are really putting on a show when it comes to weaving in and out of traffic and making things work. The tandem that I'm really impressed with right now is Justin Lewis, followed by the 47 machine behind him of Kevin West. They are all by themselves up there, and now that I say that, the 75 is going to slinky to them. But they've been doing a really good job hanging out there on that top lane, not falling back.
Yeah, they really have, and it's not just the fact that it's the longest way around the racetrack, it's also the numbers game. It's been just those two. As boy, the gyro cam threw me off for a second as we worked that outside line. You can see highest banking, longest route, best run off the corner. That's what you're seeing. The 47 try to give to the 07 right now, and it's going to push him out to the front. What a run by those two.
All that they needed was for us to jump on board, Frank. That was probably the hardest run we've seen coming out of turn 2.
Especially when you can't push. I mean, that was huge what those two were able to do. There's Wesley Hogue now still out in front. Middle lane is the one that's starting to fall away now, as the outside line, that extreme high line, is the one that's starting to pick up the numbers.
Well, I bet you they're all watching the broadcast, Frank. They're all tuning in. We have the inside scoop.
I was going to say, the insight you get from two fools is invaluable sometimes.
Well, I tell you,
contact!
Oh, no!
It's the 80 of Crumley.
They saved it. Unbelievable.
I don't know how. 80 of Jason Crumley and the 39 of Derek Wegman are going to be the two that really lose out, but it's not going to be for long as Kendall Kraft goes around. A couple of other cars. Or was that a race control yellow?
It was not a race control yellow, Frank. There was another incident that happened separate from the incident we saw leading into turn 3, and I think it involved Kendall Kraft in that 717 machine.
Yeah, we saw him down low. First, let's try to find where Jason Crumley goes off track here, because this is quite the save. Ooh, looked like a little bit of a bad bump from the 37 of Wegman. And then here's Kraft. Ooh, the 830 runs him over. 830 of Jared Bolliard.
I'm not quite sure if Kendall thought that perhaps there was going to be a caution, because it looked like he was particularly slow coming out of that corner.
There's the incident again between the 39 and 80. Let's jump on board here. No, he wasn't out of it.
No? Just
like the 830 just got a run and took it, didn't break out wide enough.
And that is what race control has deemed penalty there for the 830 machine, and we're going to see some pit stops here on lap 13.
There is the 830. Going to the back, allowing everybody else to get into pit road before him. There was another car involved in that as well. I believe it was the 69 of Gary Ragland. Also caught a piece of that. Most of the field does come down pit road. Justin Lewis, Bruno Latour, Michael Matta, and Josh Tarrant-Hill do not come down pit road. And once again, we see it happen. Somebody wrecks, and they come out miles better for it than they were previously. Derek Wegman, by coming into pit under green, goes from 27th to 6th.
Oh, man. That just tickles my heart, man.
I think some cars are going past him now, so I don't think he's going to be keeping that, which is unfortunate because, don't get us wrong, folks, the meme will live on at some point.
Oh, absolutely. And at a place like this, I mean, it's only a matter of time. We're going to see it. It'll happen. So, and when it does, we'll be there, and we will tell you, we told you so.
We will be there. We will tell you, and we will be confused why it doesn't happen to us.
Yes, absolutely.
I have never once wrecked from 15th and come out of it in 5th before the next green flag. Never once, but it happens here once a week.
Yep. But anyway, taking a look here through our first few drivers here on the grid, there's a lot of good stories to be had here already. Justin Lewis, seasoned veteran here with SCL competition. He always seems to be pretty good no matter where you go. Bruno Latour there in the 71 machine, he has been very sporty early on, plus 19 from where he has started tonight.
And
Wesley Hogg.
And that plus 19, didn't mean to cut you off there, but that plus 19 from Bruno Latour, that's not because of the pit cycle. He worked his way up into the top 5. He got a couple extra spots because of the pit cycle, but he drove his way up there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. He's been a pretty good pusher in terms of what I've seen. So, especially in the middle lane, I've seen that 71 machine really muscle his way through traffic. So, going to be interesting now to see, okay, now you're now you're responsible to lead a line. So, how are you going to navigate that? Two different skill sets. You can be a great pusher and not be a good line leader. So, we'll have to see if Bruno Latour can do a little bit of both.
It's so strange, and that preference can change, because I'm gonna go way back to the NASCAR 09 days. I couldn't stand being the leader of the line. I wanted to be the one to push. I felt like I was better pushing. But now, as I've gotten older, now I want to be out front. I don't want to be the pusher. I want to be out in front. I want to be the one leading the line, because I feel like I could take that momentum a little bit better than the guy who could possibly be in front of me. So it's interesting how that mindset and how that feeling changes.
Yeah, absolutely. Pace car is looking to peel off here. It's going to be the 71 and 07 leading them away, but it is Justin Lewis who is in charge of when we go. Which lane is going to get the most energy, especially coming out of turn 2? We're in for a treat here, as we're going to get lap 16 out of 60 in the books. Back underway here at Talladega.
Very good start for Justin Lewis once again. Gets a full car length clear on that outside line, but he's going to stay down on the bottom for Wesley Hogue. Remember, the 07, 038, the 8 and the 71 did not come down pit road here under this caution. Oh, yeah, around goes the 29.
Ooh. Back-to-back incidences we've seen.
Ooh.
Right away, and a couple of these drivers are going to walk away better than others.
Shane O'Neill in the 240 hitting the inside wall. That Old Spice car is Jonathan Casebeer. And Foskey has already towed it down pit road. Let's see what happened. Oh, he blew it up.
Yes, he did. You saw the puff of smoke out the back of the 29. Most likely a misshift of some sort. And yeah, there's when you have no power here at Talladega, you're going backwards in a hurry. There's not a lot of time.
Powell, there it is. And unfortunately for Casebeer, had nowhere to go, no knowledge that was going to be coming. One more time on board with Foskey. Sounded like he was trying to go up to fourth and ended up going down into second.
And there's no, because these Gen 4s have so much more power, you know, on some other tracks, you can get away with that with another kind of vehicle, right? You downshift when you really want to upshift, and you go, whoa, and it catches you by surprise. Maybe you'll spin out. But because these cars have so much horsepower behind them, no time to react, no time to fix the wrong. It will blow up right away.
Bruno Latour coming down pit road now. Only Justin Lewis and Josh Tarrant Hill have not been down pit road here thus far, and what could be devastating for Jason Foskey. Now, this series does run a faster pair, so you do have that. A lot of drivers, and in the few races I did here, I got into that habit as well, of unchecking the fast repair after you come down pit road. So if the 29 did that, he not only has to wait for the tow, he can't use the fast repair, and because it was a blown engine, it's a minimum 30 minutes on pit road.
Yeah, that would be devastating. That would be the worst of the worst, and your night would be over.
The only thing that would save him from that is if he did not uncheck the fast repair, and once the tow is done, then he can use that fast repair and be back in it, only losing a couple of laps. Jared Bolliard coming down to top off. Barrett Flo, Will Solomon, Bruno Latour, Michael Matta, Derek Wegman, Shane O'Neill, and Jared Bolliard coming down pit road here. It looks like, profile view of the nose, it looks like the 024 did use, the 240, pardon me. There's my dyslexia working. Shane O'Neill, we'll just go that way, did take his fast repair, so he is now down and out of fast repair. And I'm sure we'll find out in the next couple of moments here whether or not Foskey is in trouble or if he's going to be spared.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I've made that mistake before in the past, and it's not fun because at the end of the day, you have nobody to blame but yourself, even if it is, the mistake is, oh, well, I forgot to unclick this, or I forgot to click my fast repair, what have you, right? Well, now, as you can see, he's rolling. It's not like he got caught up in somebody else's mess. It was his mistake. He made the mistake of shifting down instead of shifting up. So it's such a tough place.
He's rolling, but he's still puffing smoke. So I'm not entirely sure whether or not the fast repair took, and I don't think it did, because with the fast repair it basically gives you a whole new car, and he still has the marbles. I'm not sure how this is. But maybe it did give it to him. He's going to be 2 laps down either way. I guess it did give it to him.
He didn't gain spots, Frank, so that would have been the icing on the cake.
No, him being the only car lap down, I wouldn't have thought he did.
Oh, man.
Fortunately, only 2 laps down, though, is Foskey. One of the benefits of being under caution here at Talladega is you could read a 500-page novel in between your caution laps.
Pace car is off, and we will be waiting to get lap 20 of this 60-lap event. Justin Lewis will again be the control car with Wesley Hogg to his outside, and the pushers back behind them are anxious to get going. Lewis has the button and waits a little while longer than before. We're back underway. Great restart from the 038.
38 doing that on his own. 375 of Laskoski, not quite there yet. The top 5 have seemed to have broken away. Lilith Peters gets down into the gap. She'll be the 4th car on the inside line now, as those 2 on the outside, the 038 and the 375, might be in deep trouble as Peters is going to bail them out. Justin Horton in the 64 goes to the outside as well.
And we saw 64 earlier hanging out in this. It's the top lane right now, but I'm sure it will be the middle lane soon. We saw the 64 a little uneasy here driving in this lane. I'm surprised he went back up there.
It'll be the 4th car on the outside line. Again, if you're just joining us, that blank car there, I've reset the textures multiple times here. That blank car on the inside lane, that is Chris Vanderplat's. On the bottom, there's the car he's running. You can see it in the graphic there. That's the car he's got. Unfortunately, the graphics are not playing ball.
Yeah, and he would be running the under pressure washer services car. That's the company that Chris runs, and he helps support SCL. So bummer we can't see that paint.
Absolutely. Seeing Jennifer Carnevale in the chat, rooting for Ollie Marston. There is the number 35 wiggling away down there on the bottom line, currently in 16th position. Marston plus 11 from where he started, electing not to take a qualifying run. Last came down to pit on lap 13, so a solid run working so far here for Marston, but as we inch towards the halfway point, especially around Talladega, anything can happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And these drivers up front are not giving up on the battle for the lead. I really thought, just like you, Frank, that those front 2 on the top lane were going to be toast, but Lilith Peters has changed the game up there as we see a change for the lead. Not clear.
Hogue just missed his time in that 038. Justin Lewis and Josh Tarrant-Hill working well on the bottom, and you just saw there on the graphic, those 2 on the bottom, the first 2 cars on the bottom, the 07 and the 8, the only 2 that have not yet come down pit road.
Yeah, and you got to wonder, when is their fuel cycle going to come to completion? You don't want to be up here if you are planning on pitting, and you certainly want to group more than 2 people to go down pit road. These 2 are going to be in big trouble if this thing stays green past their pit window.
100% fuel fill, so this race should be a one-stopper. Lewis and Tarrant-Hill, I'm sure, are wanting to ensure themselves that they make it, plus green light checkered. Probably why they're running as far as they have. A vast majority of this field last came down pit road on lap number 13. Barrett Flo, Derek Wegman, Bruno Latour, Michael Matta, Jared Bolliard, Will Solomon, and Shane O'Neill have come down either on lap 17 or 18 under the last caution. Everybody else except the front 2 came down on lap 13.
I tell you what, I've been looking at the gap at times between the 07 and the 8 machine. Josh Tarrant-Hill has been super aggressive in how he bumps Justin Lewis on this low line, and there have been a couple times where Lewis has had his hands full.
I'm sure it has. That run at that outside line is getting the inside line, though, just so superior, especially on corner entry and through the center of the corner. That outside line's having just an impossible time of trying to make a move.
Yeah, and
it's coming here.
This is where I've seen Lewis really shake a lot here through the tri-oval and just kind of wobbling a little bit, depending on the bump he gets from Tarrant-Hill. They were able to play nice right there, but certainly it's not consistent lap after lap.
And you can see, and we'll ride on board, we'll stick on board here with Josh Tarrant Hill. That tri-oval is not one, it's not one banking. There are a couple of levels of banking through that tri-oval, and the bottom level is very, very flat and very, very bumpy. So these cars are going to get upset down there to begin with. Watch where Josh Tarrant Hill goes. This is flatter than what's above him, and you can see how much bumpier it is.
Oh yeah, it is awful. And then the transition back on to the normal racing surface towards the start-finish line, you got to have nice people above you because the lanes sort of converge there at the end of the tri-oval. Better hope that your buddy lets you up, because you're in all kinds of sorts trying to get back 2x2.
If the drivers on the outside line are any of the people from Snapdragon Stadium last night, I promise you they will not let you in. But that's a personal matter. Anyway, Taylor Luskowski wiggling away on that outside line, was able to get down to the bottom behind Wesley Hogue to take the 1 and 2 spots, but ended up jumping back out to the outside line. Prefers the high side, does the 375 tonight.
I saw a really nice side draft right there from the 375 on Josh Tarrant Hill. Was able to kind of swoosh in, not just hang there. You can't just hang out down there and expect to gain ground. You have to get close and then move away and manipulate the air that way, and it's going to pay dividends.
Big move in the back as Michael Matta swung right up to the outside line, and that kind of forced Bruno Latour to back out of it and go to the bottom. That's for 16th and now 18th for Latour. As the drivers who came down to pit on lap 17 not really advancing forward, as everyone kind of holding station right now.
Yeah, this isn't really a track that demands a lot out of tires. I mean, you're going to be slipping and sliding, and they're going to obviously feel good when you get new shoes, but that doesn't mean you're going to run right by guys like Justin Lewis and Josh Tarrant Hill. We're not really going to see a huge increase in lap time just because you took tires.
Last week's winner and championship points leader, Kevin West, finding himself out in front on the outside line. Lilith Peters pushing him. Only led 9 laps at Suzuka last week. Austin Call led the other 31. But it was that 47 that found his way into victory lane as the 64 found his way into the back bumper of the 101.
Yeah, I mentioned that 64 machine earlier, just kind of bebopping around on that high line. Justin Horton up here, now inside looking to get into the top 5, but he's held his own up here. It hasn't all been perfect, but he's making the most of it up here on that high line.
See Lilith Peters moving and wiggling and shimmying down the back straightaway, trying to get as close as she can to the back bumper of the 47 without getting into him. As they come into the tri-oval, we are halfway through round number 7 of the SCL Grand National Series here from Talladega. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back with more action right here from the 2.6 mile Superspeedway. big accident here at Talladega Superspeedway, taking out a lot of good cars, starting from the front of the field. Greg Birch got sideways, and down into the pack he came.
Yeah, and very, very quickly it turned into a nowhere to run situation for a lot of these drivers.
It's the one that ends up getting away with it, but everybody else behind him had a big blunder.
I think Joshua Yarborough finds himself at the initial contact here. Right there. Oh, Barrett Flo getting into the back of, I believe, Case Beer there. Yep. Ooh.
Just everyone kind of collecting up, but I saw something in that replay. I don't know if you saw it, but get ready. Because this is going to be very, very interesting. And Jennifer Carnevale, get ready because you're about to see some driving here. On board with Ollie Marston. Woo!
Just hold a pretty wheel and watch the world go by. Great driving there.
That could have been so much worse for that number 35, and it was not. As everybody comes down pit road except for one. Michael Matta.
Yeah, and this is the yellow that Josh Trent-Hill and the 07 machine of Justin Lewis, they were both looking for, right? They wanted to be able to go down pit road, get even with the rest of the field. Matta, I think, is going to try to make it on what he's got, so we're going to have to see if that strategy is going to pan out. It's going to be really difficult, right? Because if he's going to be the first car in line, he's going to be using more gas.
Josh Tarrant-Hill, to your point, which was a very, very good one, I should say, will come out in 10th, and after a 27-second pit stop, Justin Lewis will come out 19th.
Ooh. Huh. Looks like he had to get some damage repaired on that AC Delco machine.
Yeah, that wouldn't have been a speeding penalty. A speeding penalty would have held him there for roughly 50. Kendall Kraft in the 717 might have gotten that speeding penalty. 45.7 second pit stop for the currently the second running of two City Chevrolet cars. So we will come down to 24 laps to go.
This caution should benefit one driver, though. I think Foskey in the 29, yes, did get a lap back. So Foskey now one lap down.
And has made a pass. Todd Willis in the 780, there he is. In Brad Kozlowski's old number 88 GoDaddy.com machine. Has gone a lap down. He will not, however, speaking of Foskey, will not get past Derek Wegman. However, he is on the same lap as Wegman now.
Yeah, and look how crinkled up that machine is. So definitely going to be struggling to keep it up with the field there.
Joshua Yarborough used the fast repair, one half of the trigger to that incident, passing the second half of the trigger to that incident, Barrett Flo, who was also taking a fast repair.
Yeah, some of these drivers are now going to have to be really comfortable with hanging out in the back because you've gotten involved maybe in a couple of these incidences. You're racking up those incident points. You have to be careful of that. And then also, if you've used your fast repair, there's no more second chances. You have what you have now, and you have to make it 24, soon to be 23 laps. to the end. So it might just do you well to cruise around here for about 14 laps and then start flipping switches.
So it'll be Michael Matta and Kevin West lining up on the front row. Lilith Peters and Todd Merkel in row 2. Chris Vanderplatz, who thanks to the chat, is rocking a Johnny Benson throwback scheme tonight, which we unfortunately cannot see. And Zach Archer in row number 3. Pace car about ready to come down pit road. 23 laps to go when we hit the line. Working lap 37 of 60 here tonight. Matta gets into the restart zone. Green flag is in the air, off and running once again.
And Matta gets a good jump, but he's all by himself. And you're going to see that top wing really surge on by. But here comes Lilith Peters now with some help.
Bottom lane hasn't gotten the best of restarts, but once it gets towards the backstretch, that's when it starts to really come into its own.
Look at Josh Jarrett-Hill in that third lane. He's got a big head of steam.
Got Jonathan Casebeer behind him as well in the 05. Nobody else, but Casebeer is there.
Wow, look at... I can't believe they made it through all that. Josh Jarrett-Hill was really side drafting Todd Merkel. He's doing it again.
Works a heck of a lot better in the... Oh, wow. I think they both went up and side drafted each other and kind of met in the middle on that one.
Well, it's worked. That top lane with Jarrett-Hill and Casebeer and the willpower between the two of them have made that top lane work. And look at this. Justin Lewis coming up. Help is on the way for that top lane.
It's how you have to survive in the next-gen cars, is using that side draft. Got a little bit too close on the side draft. Merkel sideways in the middle, and Merkel's going to go around.
Birch is in it. Vanderplatz is in it. 28 gets hard in the inside of the tube machine.
69 there as well. 64, 80.
43 machine. That's Salomon. Gets stopped.
And that's unfortunate for Salomon because he had just bailed out of the big group to go to the back and then gets involved in the wreck that he was trying to avoid.
Yeah, some of these drivers are definitely more hurt than others. Taking a look here. Gary Ragland. Ugh, big damage on that machine.
It's David Hanna there pulling into his pit box.
Yeah, Hanna just, I mean, Todd Merkel saw David Hanna maybe closer than he ever has, as Hanna met Todd right in the driver's side door.
This started with the entertainment that we saw between the 2 and the 8 side drafting each other. Oh. Let's try to pull it back a little bit further than that even, because that was some great moving and shaking there between the two. He almost had it saved. And Zachary Archer came in at the wrong time. Watch how close he is to having this saved. Go back even further. Here they are. It's the 38 of Zachary Archer in the middle there. There's the contact that sends the 2 sideways. Wiggle, wiggle, had it. 38 bump draft in the middle of the corner.
Yeah, and it's really hard to be in Archer's position there, right? Where you got Todd Merkel, who's trying to get a very long saved, and here you are, second in line going, well, I'm in the middle, and I have a line of cars behind me. So if I brake to make sure that you're safe, I'm going to get run over.
Justin Horton was the onboard that we just had there. He got up and under Chris Vanderplatz. And again, very unfortunate for the 43 who had just bailed out to go to the back to try to avoid that and ends up getting involved in it anyway.
So they're trying to sort out EOLs in terms of drivers getting down pit road and other drivers having the want to get down pit road, but yet not the car to get down pit road. And then you got to go back in time and try to examine, okay, well, whose fault is this? So RC's definitely got a lot to sort through here, but when we get them all going again, we're going to be inside 20 laps to go. So if you thought the racing was intense then, right, they were side drafting off each other going 3 wide, just wait till 10 to go.
Now, typically, it would be Josh Tarrant-Hill and Jonathan Casebeer, or a combination of, or a solo of one of the two in race control. Tonight, it's Mike Peters who has the golden duty of trying to figure this all out.
And they normally do a good job here at SCL to get things all correct. So, certainly a lot of work, but let me tell you, to get a good RC is hard to find, and SCL's got a couple of them.
Saw the amount of time it took to come to certain conclusions and make sure the running order was correct coming into question after the final leg of the Virginia Triple Crown. Justin Lewis had that race seemingly won, ran out of fuel coming out of turn 4 on the final lap. And Lewis in the Discord chat was very critical of race control and how long it took as far as extending caution laps to try to get everything righted.
Yeah, and that's difficult there, right? Because caution laps don't count to the end of the race. Here, they most certainly do. So it's going to be interesting as these drivers are going to stack them up again, get ready to go here from Talladega. Again, this is SCL's Grand National Division. Racing Gen 4s here tonight. And it's Michael Matta on the front row, sporting Taylor Swift album tribute car, I guess we'll put it that way.
2023 certainly has been the summer of Swift, has it not?
Yeah. It's not tears of sweat, but I mean, it's. I guess Taylor's got her place too, right?
I don't listen, so I don't know. I'm not a Swiftie. I'm stuck in the 70s and 80s, unfortunately, for Swifties.
Well, I guess we'll talk about music later, as the pace car's looking to dive off here and give us an opportunity to call a great race here. We thank you for tuning in here to Sim Racing Media's coverage of the SCL Grand National Series here from Talladega. It will be Michael Matta leading Kevin West and company to the green flag here. Now we are under the 20 lap mark. In fact, we're going to go green here with 19 laps to go. Now 18.
Very good
there
start for Michael Matta. I think a little too good as Josh Tarrant-Hill fell about 2 car lengths behind him.
Yeah, you got to be patient now, right? We've seen a couple cautions here in quick order, so get your groove back. Don't try to get it all back in one lap. You can certainly lose this race in one lap.
Kevin West and Lilith Peters are both clear, but are electing to go on the outside line. Lilith Peters deciding to make a third lane, and by the time Kevin West reacts to go down to the bottom, it's too late. Now he's forced to the middle.
Matta, oh man, 4 wide here. 4 wide to the lead here at Talladega. You can do it here. But you got to get it sorted out.
Josh Tarrant Hill has no help. Michael Matta has the help of the bottom line. Kevin West has the help of the middle line. Still 4 wide. As it looks like now Justin Lewis is the one that's hung out with nowhere to go. K-Spear getting very, very loose coming out of turn 2, but somehow keeps it straight.
What a save from Jonathan K-Spear back there at about the 10th position. Was able to keep it straight. It's the reason why we're still green. These drivers are now 3 wide, 3 rows deep now. This is fantastic racing.
Josh Tarrant Hill in the fact of a half a lap as, that was a car in the wall there. Chris Vanderplatz hard into the wall.
Archer was also in the fence coming out of turn 4.
Vanderplatz able to get it down pit road, so we will stay green. But in a matter of a half a lap, Josh Tarrant Hill went 4 wide in the 3rd lane to being the leader of the bottom.
He's racing the right scheme, right? We've seen, how many times have we seen the Pied Piper lead him here at Talladega, and certainly sporting a worthy paint scheme today. Be something special to bring that one home P1, but a lot of racing left between now and the end of this.
There's certainly a subconscious thing. It's, well, I see that Budweiser car out there. May as well follow it. I know I've done it. As caution! Oh, K-Spear hard into the wall.
They ran out of room here in the tri-oval. Justin Lewis is in it. K-Spear, of course, we mentioned before. I think Bruno Latour was in it. Joshua Yarborough.
Not sure if Barrett Flo was in it there, but that was certainly Lilith Peters definitely was.
Oh, man. And this is just... this is that tricky tri-oval we talked about at the top of the show. How the lanes change and nowhere for Peters to go.
Now, we're going to ride on board here with Laskowski on this replay. Watch, this is, I thought we were going to ride on board at least. But again, watch here with Laskowski. He's up on that banking. K-Spear's down on the flat, and it just kind of merges with each other.
And that will be the end of Jonathan K-Spear's night, as he has decided that enough is enough.
Run out of fast repairs. As watch the 05. See, he's on the bottom. The 375 has a little bit of a run, starts peaking. That 07 just got clipped. Well, I think that's about done it. I think everyone now, probably apart from the 038 and the 47, have been a part of something tonight.
Yeah, these drivers are getting their money's worth here tonight at Talladega. It's just a product of the kind of racing we're in. And we're not done. We're not done. We're not done seeing wild moves. We saw that they were 4 wide for a long period of time there in that run. They were able to make it. They were 3 wide, 3 rows deep. These guys are most certainly able to put on a great show, but at any point in time, it could all come unwound.
Kevin West, Josh Tarrant Hill, Wesley Hogue, Michael Matta, Ollie Marston, Jared Bolyard, Kendall Kraft, Will Solomon, Todd Merkel, and Chad Jones. I think that's the first time I've said Chad Jones's name since the grid. That is your top 10.
Here's Chad.
what is now second of the two City Chevrolet cars. He'd said that Kendall Kraft was the second of the two. Well, now he's the first of the two.
Todd Merkel back here in ninth, looking to bring back some of that magic, coming back up through the field. Driver in front of him, we just talked about not too long ago, Will Salmon there in the 43, talked about how it was unfortunate he got caught up in an incident where he was prepared to kind of sit back in the pack and watch the world go by. Now he's back inside the top 10.
It was 2 incidences ago, so he's not the beneficiary of the meme.
Oh, no.
Does have some right door damage. You can see that's the frame of the car coming through the bottom of the 43. That is not a part of the paint scheme. That is damage to that car.
For any of our Bruno Latour fans out there tonight, his connection has dropped. So, although these drivers don't have to worry about things like, I don't know, pick a myriad of things that could happen to a car in terms of mechanical failures, but minus an engine blowing up, because we did see that today. If you are iRacing, you do have to worry about your internet sometimes. So, Bruno Latour, his night is going to end early because of connection issues.
Jonathan K. Spear, Latour, Gary Ragland, Shane O'Neill, the official cars that are retired. Todd Willis is not officially retired yet. He has been down pit road for the last 22 minutes. So he's not done yet. Brought up, by the way, Jason Foskey, remember, 2 laps down, thought maybe he didn't have his fast repair when his motor blew, fell 2 laps down. Yep. 17th position on the lead lap. So the 29 back in it with a shout at winning this race.
Yeah, I mean, he's got Lilith Peters back there and a couple other strong cars, so he's got a lot of good help to make his way back up through this field. Getting ready to get 12 laps to go here from Talladega. It's the 47 of Kevin West now, the control car. And outside of him is the 8 of Josh Cherritt-Hill, the boss man for SCL, looking for a win here at Talladega. And we're back underway. Great launch by that 47.
Kevin West getting way out ahead. Josh Cherritt-Hill with help from Michael Matta behind him. Wesley Hogue still trying to catch up to the 47. Ollie Marston not quite there yet. As Cherritt-Hill trying to claw his way back up on that outside line as he usually does. Saw him the way he pinched out on that 038, then jumped up to the outside line, worked for the side draft. However, it gave the 038 time to get up to the middle as Kendall Kraft got sent way to the inside.
Kraft looking to merge back onto the racetrack. Looks like it will be doable. And what a move there. And no. Oh, are they going to keep it square? No. Todd Merkel all the way to the inside. He's keeping it straight. I saw Barrett flow sideways as well.
There
it
all
is.
Wrecking.
Oh my goodness. Guys coming back up into the field.
That was a wreck that took forever to get called a wreck. Oh, and then there's
Todd! Oh, Todd, no! Oh. I would say, Frank, that's probably the longest wreck that turned into a wreck that I have called in quite some time.
I don't even know how to call it. It started, and at every point when you thought it was going to end, it just kept going. There's the start of it. There's Matta going. There's Merkel going through. By the way, Zachary Archer and Jason Foskey are spinning behind him. And now here's where the rest of the field gets involved in it. Let's take a look at this from the starter stand. Let's see where we can. It's gonna start. It's gonna start happening here. Here comes everyone else.
Yeah, crazy. And then, yeah, the very end of that was puzzling to say the least. But we'll let greater minds than us try to debunk as to why that happened. But back up front, Kevin West feeling pretty good right now. Half the field just wrecked.
I will say this: what I found very entertaining, and I'm not going to go back to it because I'll start breaking. But the incident and the sound of the metal squeaking and creaking from the cars lined up perfectly with Barney's arm moving up and down, and it sounded like his arm. You could make the case that it was his arm that was making that sound. I found that very entertaining.
Oh man, only you, Frank.
Yep.
Only you. And yeah, I mean, I'm the psychopath here. I'm the one who I don't listen to the sounds of the race when we broadcast. There's a little bit of a peek behind the curtain for anybody who might be wondering. But in order to hear Frank, I can't have iRacing on. So I'm gonna let the viewers take a look at this and see if Frank is right.
Well, this is not going to be the same angle, but that's where the incident started with the 8 and the 038. And just everything behind them is completely falling apart. On the drone cam here, there's 16 going down, 92. There's the 29 and 38 getting into it. And there's Greg Birch had a hard hit in there as well. There's Chris Vanderplat's down by the bottom. I want to see. I see a camera in here that's a scoring pylon. I want to see what it looks like. Yeah, that's useful. Thanks. Who else wouldn't want an isolated camera looking right at the scoring pylon and nothing else?
Me.
You got your wish on this camera pack at least. So we're getting set now to go green. It'll be Kevin West and Ollie Marston, Jared Bolliard and Justin Lewis, Taylor Liskowski and Lilith Peters, Zachary Archer and Joshua Yarborough, Wesley Hogan, Michael Matta. That's your top 10 as they sit.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who finds the better pusher in terms of some of the pairings we have been so used to seeing all night long. That's gone, right? We're not going to be able to get used to, a Todd Merkel pushing somebody or Chris Vanderplat's. He was always so reliable there in the bottom lane all night long. Josh Jarrett Hill, of course, a strong line leader. All those guys are gone. So now I hope you were taking notes, because now's the time in the show where you need to pay attention to who can actually get the job done when it comes to pushing or leading a line.
And as far as those people, who has X's still left to give, who still has a fast repair, and there's a lot of things that you need to concern yourself with. As right now, we're about to concern ourselves with a restart. We'll have 8 laps to go once we go green. By the way, The 39 of Derek Wegman gets the lap back with the lucky dog. Green flag coming out. There it goes. 8 laps to go here at Talladega.
Great jump here by Kevin West. He's going to have to now defend 2 hard-charging lanes behind him with Boland and Marston now looking to capitalize on this restart opportunity.
Bolyard gets a very nice run as Leskowski trying to push his way through. Bolyard wiggles his way out to the outside lane.
It wasn't with a ton of confidence, but he got out there. That 830 tiptoed his way to the outside lane. It is going to be enough for the moment to get him the lead.
038 still there. There's the 35 of Ollie Marston with 07 leading the outside line with Lilith Peters pushing him. There's still a couple of very big names that you would expect to be up at the front still in this.
Yeah, absolutely. Some of these drivers are really showing their hands now in terms of what they want to be doing towards the end of this race. And for Justin Lewis, it's leading the line. Look at him on the outside lane.
Josh Tarrant Hill in that 8 Budweiser machine just took his fast repair. He's still in this fight. 3 wide up here at the front. Kevin West on the bottom. Jarrett Bolyard in the middle. Justin Lewis on the outside line.
Yeah, these drivers are duking it out right now. That bottom line's a little shaky. Maybe getting a little tight down there. And the side drafts are just going to get more and more aggressive as the laps wear on.
A little bit closer, a little bit faster, a little bit more dramatic. Justin Lewis.
No,
around goes
Archer.
Zachary Archer. There goes Michael Matta as well. Doesn't look like too much damage for these cars, just more they went around.
Yeah, it looks like it. Can't believe that was it. I mean, that was such a dangerous part of the racetrack to wreck in, especially for drivers who were this close to the front of the field.
Matta turns, at least from what I see, Matta turns Archer. Solomon in turn turns Matta. On board of Michael Matta.
Yeah, just getting a big run there. And of course, through that portion of the racetrack, it's so hard to manage your runs and not be super aggressive there. But even now with 6 or 7 laps to go, you have to be disciplined in where you push, because just because the laps are winding down doesn't mean it's any more safe now to push through the corner. So the driver who stays disciplined in when to push is probably going to be the one that will escort somebody else to a win tonight.
I found out why Zach Archer had gotten involved in that wreck. And for those of you who are taking a look at the chat, there's your answer. Texting and driving, especially around Talladega, not a good thing.
Oh, can't be doing that. Oh, just not a good virtual. I don't even know how to follow that up. So this is one of the last racetracks I would try to do that.
There you're seeing on screen right now the 830. He is the leader, and there you just saw David Hanna go flashing past, getting the wave around. So Jarrett Bolyard in the lead, Kevin West, Ollie Marston, Taylor Leskowski, and Wesley Hogue. That is your top 5 as we are getting set for what I am expecting to be a natural green-white checkered, or it might be a green-green-white checkered. It'll be one of the two.
Yeah, and we'll have to see if these drivers can make it more than a couple laps around this place. Monday night, we were trying to figure out when the race was going to end. There was multiple wrecks on the last lap, and just the yellow would never fly, never fly, never fly, and then it finally flew there towards the very end. So even when you think the race is going to end under those conditions, doesn't necessarily mean that that's the case. So these drivers still have a lot to race for right now.
That's why you always keep your foot in it.
Well, I wouldn't advise such reckless behavior, but if you want to take your driving advice from Frank, he'll probably be faster than me. So you choose, I guess. We did mention earlier on in the show that Ollie Marston has a fan in chat tonight. So I hope you're still here rooting Ollie on, as that 35 machine is up 23 spots from where he started.
Up in the top 5, so it will be a green-white checkered. And I'm assuming, Zach, if you look in the race information there, I believe we have one green-white checkered that we're going to have for tonight.
It is...
While Zach's looking that up, Kendall Kraft, Jonathan Casebeer, Bruno Latour, Gary Ragland, Shane O'Neill, and now officially Todd Willis is done for the evening. So those 6 will not see the finish here tonight.
I'm not seeing where where that information would be found.
Be in the race info screen there on iRacing. Click on info. Brings up that tab where the track information and the tires.
I'm looking, Frank. I'm looking.
I'm babbling on here because
I don't. Okay, so for our viewers at home, just know that all of SEL's competition, normally, I'm going to say that again, normally, has one attempt at a green-white checkered. I cannot find that on said info tab that Frank has guided me to.
There might be an issue as we're getting set to go green. This is not the first session that these guys tried to post into tonight. This is the second session, so in the haste in making the session, there might have been a thing or two forgotten, as Jarrett Bulliard elects to take the outside line here for this restart, coming to 3 laps to go. Green flag in the air.
And the front 2 are pretty even, about as close as we've seen in quite some time. Let's see if Bulliard can get out in front of Kevin West in that 47 machine. He certainly got the help for it.
Certainly does. Is that 375 of Laskowski? Oh, getting very, very close there with that 07. The 375 as the caution has come out.
I'm trying to figure out where that is on track. I'm not seeing anything
either.
Okay, well, that's good to...
it's Josh Tarrant Hill.
Oh! And he is spewing smoke out of the back of that number 8 machine.
Let's see what happened here with Tarrant Hill. Going off into turn 1. Come right up across the nose of the 38 of Archer.
Not clear and hard into the outside fence. We'll have to see if the boss man for SEL has a fast repair.
I don't think so. Remember that big wreck on the front stretch?
Oh, yes.
He got beaten up pretty good in that.
Well, Frank, I have your information for you now. And for the viewers who might be wondering, this, just like every other SEL race I have ever covered, has one attempt at a green-white checker.
There you go.
So
Again, forgive me for asking, because it has been a while since I've done these on a regular basis at the very least. Just want to make sure.
Third one in 3 days, and I still didn't know the answer. So, so yes, but we're gonna try for a green-white checkered. And if you viewers out there are unfamiliar with the rules of a green-white checkered, let me explain. So we're gonna get this thing started, and they're gonna take the green flag, and what they're going to do is try to attempt to make it all the way around this racetrack without wrecking and get the white flag. And then after that lap is completed, of course, we will see the checkers. Now, because this is the one and only attempt at a green-white checkered, what is supposed to happen, and I say that because it did not happen this way on Monday night, when there is a wreck, iRacing will deem it a yellow flag incident, and the field will be frozen at that point in time, and the race will be called. It did not happen on Monday night, Frank, and we were here. So I'm anxious to see if they do take the white flag, what exactly happens if there is an incident, or as we saw a multitude of incidents on Monday night at different parts of the racetrack. They did not come and get the checkered at the end. There was eventually a wreck that triggered the caution, but it took a few of them to trigger that display of a yellow flag. So we're just gonna have to see.
Kevin West finds himself out in front. Kevin West, winner at Suzuka last time out, also won at Twin Ring Motegi, Rockingham, and Daytona earlier this season. So Kevin West won 4 of the first 6 races of this Grand National Series season. Looking to start off the second half of this season with a bang. Again, this series plus the Monday Night Cup Series will be at Chicagoland next week. And the late model stock series will be at a track that unfortunately no longer exists, Myrtle Beach. Coming up on the 1st. So it'll be the Cup Series at Chicagoland on the 31st. The late model stock series at Myrtle Beach on the 1st. And then the Gen 4s at Chicagoland on the 2nd. That'll be the next time we see this series.
Yeah, we've had a great race tonight. A lot of different strategies playing out early in this one. And then the second half of this race has been filled with a number of incidences. It has jumbled up the field quite a bit. But one of the constants of tonight's action is that these drivers aren't afraid to go 3, sometimes 4 wide. So definitely anticipate more of that aggressive racing here as we are getting ready to get our green-white checkered attempt.
So Kevin West, after seeing what Jarrett Bulliard decided to do on the last restart, now every single leader has chosen to pick the inside lane on the restart, except for Jarrett Bulliard on the last restart. He went to the outside. Now Kevin West, who has chosen the inside line on his previous goes as the leader, goes to the outside.
Yeah, it's really interesting. We'll have to see what that decision or how that decision rather impacts the end of this race, as the pace car is peeling off. As mentioned before, the front row will be West and Bolliard here, leading them to green. The next flag, if it's not, if it's anything other than a checkered flag, well, I guess a white flag. Man, Frank, I'm
Green
tripping
flag
through
is
here.
in the air. It's Kevin
Save
West.
me, Frank, save me.
Kevin West takes the green flag. Big move there by Wesley Hogue. He's already made it 3 wide going into turn 1.
It didn't take them long, but now they're 3
and around
wide
goes
and
Hogue.
hard into the outside fence. Wow.
And that'll do it.
Kevin West will be your winner.
Still moving and wrecking. And this chance at a fight for the win does not go far.
Couple 100 feet.
Yeah, just
And,
about.
yeah. Kevin West.
Wait. Jared
Wait.
Bolliard. The white flag has just come out. Oh, now West is rolling. Okay.
Yeah, they still have to go around the ring. That's the thing. Like, although it's a yellow flag, you still have to go. So, and I've seen iRacers give away wins by thinking it's the end. So, Kevin West, yeah, he knows. He's like, I got to get back up there.
we have both called it. I don't know if he was waiting for the pace car there or what happened.
Oh, maybe.
But now there is the pace car. Catching up to the pace car is Kevin West. Again, your championship leader coming into tonight has been so good this season. Wins the 2 races in Japan. And now will add win number 5 to the record, as he will take both super speedways this season. Coming to the line, Kevin West, after starting 24th, will come home and win here at Talladega.
Yeah, we saw a little bit of everything tonight when it comes to strategy, when it comes to hard racing. But the last, I don't know, probably about the last 20 laps of this event, drivers were just so anxious to make some big time moves, and ultimately that's what ended this one.
We'll work on getting these drivers in here for interviews momentarily, as we'll let these guys work their way back around and start to celebrate. And while we do that, let's take a look back at the incident that ended this race. That would be between Ollie Marston and Wesley Hogue, and it looks like Hogue tried to get up a lane and just it wasn't there. We'll go back and look at it again here, naturally. There he is, makes it 3 wide going into turn 1. Pushes Marston out wide, and it, boy.
Ooh. I kind of want to give a shout out where shout outs are due there. Trying to figure out who's in that machine.
64
Weaving their way weaving their way through that.
64 went upside down. Let's take a look at it from above it once again to see, is Hogue... That was just a case of two cars trying to fit in one lane, and I think I saw who you were referring to there. As we will jump on board here with the number 39 of Derek Wegman. There it starts.
Yikes!
Nicely done. So with that, let's get to the interview, shall we? Zach, you are with our race winner, Kevin West.
Kevin, it's Zach and Frank up in the booth.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Doing well, and not as good as you. I didn't win a race tonight, but you sure. So talk to the viewers out there in YouTube land about your night tonight at Talladega and how this track sort of came to you here at the end.
Well, we started in the back. We elected not to qualify tonight. I just wanted to kind of hang back and get a read on the field, see how they're racing, see if anybody's kind of not holding their line and stuff. But after a few laps, I decided that the lead would probably be the best place to be on, to be honest. And I just did my best trying to stay up in the front of the line, whether it was on the bottom, middle, or the top. And it actually worked out for us because everything happened behind us tonight. So we were able to keep the fenders on it and bring it home in victory lane.
As this race was winding down, we had talked about how you've had a lot of success here in the Grand National Series. What does it mean for you to get a win here now, kick-starting the second half of this season?
Well, we just want to keep the momentum rolling into the second half of the season. We've been real fortunate to get the wins that we have this season, and I hope it just keeps going on like that. We're having a great time.
Well, Kevin, I want to leave this time up to you for any thank you, sponsors, or shout-outs that you might have for your first place here at Talladega.
Well, I'm actually trying to look for sponsors, so if anybody's watching, might be interested in being on the hood, hit me up. I have a TikTok. It's called Trailer Park Dude. Check that out. Give me a follow. And thank you.
All right. Well, you go enjoy that P1 finish, Kevin. I'm sure we'll be able to have the opportunity to talk to you more as the season carries on. Congratulations.
Thanks. See you guys.
So that was our race winner, Kevin West. We will now go to our second place finisher. That would be Jarrett Bulliard. And Jarrett, a little bit of a rough start early. Saw you hanging around in the back quite a bit at the beginning, but ended up at the front when you needed to.
Hey, I've ran plenty of Daytona and Talladega Superspeedway races, and you really just got to be there at the end. That's what's most important.
Yep, and you absolutely did just that. How was it? We know the cars were here. The next gen cars were here on Monday night, and then 2 nights later you're back in a completely different car. What is it like to get out of that mindset of, hey, I can bump draft, I can slam draft in the next gen cars, but I can't do that here?
I would say it's just a little bit. You just got to be a little bit more careful about how you race. Really, the only difference is you can't draft, so track position means a little bit more when you can't bump draft people.
All right, we head to Chicagoland in these cars next week. What are your thoughts going into Chicagoland?
I'm excited for that. Hopefully there will be a little bit less carnage next week.
I'm sure there will be. Is anyone you want to thank before we let you go?
Yeah, thanks to Kevin, Taylor. Glad we all took home the top 3 sweep by the same team. Thanks to Wes and Jason too, and all the NTO4 gang.
All right, your second place finisher tonight, Jarrett Bulliard. Congratulations.
Thanks, guys.
And that will leave Zach, you, with our third place finisher, Taylor Liskowski. Or Liskowski, sorry.
Hey, Taylor, it's Zach Abier here in the booth.
Good morning.
Well, you certainly let this race come to you after a long 60 laps here at Talladega. You found yourself in the mix. Describe to the viewers out there your night tonight around this iconic racetrack.
Yeah, we started out pretty good. We got the dang pole somehow and led the first few laps and just kind of got shuffled out there, I believe, on the pit stop, or I think is what happened. And just kind of rode around, got caught in a couple accidents like everybody else. And that last wreck, well, not the last one, maybe even not the one before that, but the big one, dodged some bullets through that and made it through. And I was thinking sitting P5, and then it was just, we didn't even complete a lap. We didn't even complete a corner. I don't even think after that. Just kept trying to get up there, and then, just kept being chaos.
Well, you were able to secure the podium tonight with some friends there with you, being able to put a strong effort out there tonight. What does a finish like this for you personally mean as you carry on here in the back half of this schedule?
Yeah, it means a lot that NTO4 Racing got 1, 2, 3. I thought we were going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 there, but the 35 decided to turn Wesley Hogue there coming to the checkered. And but for me personally, it means a lot. I mean, I run with you guys every few weeks if I have the chance, and had the chance tonight and had a good run, and just try to stay with my teammates and see what we could do. And we were hoping to race it out there at the end, but the 35 ran out of talent.
All right. Well, Taylor, do you have any thank you, sponsors, or shout outs you want to give for that P3 effort?
I just want to say happy birthday to Jarrett Boyard. We were hoping to get him a win here for his birthday, but I guess runner-up's not too bad to his teammate.
Well, there you go. Well, happy birthday. We didn't know that. So we love birthdays here at Sim Racing Media. So
yeah, pull him back up
letting
here.
us know.
Pull him back up and we'll sing happy birthday.
I think we'll run in. Yeah. Frank's.
I think there's some copyright issues that are involved.
Yeah, Frank's voice is just shot. I mean,
yeah, I bet it's pretty shot after that exciting race out there.
He's been working so hard, and I only want to give you the best of Frank. So maybe next time.
All right, appreciate it, guys. Have a good night.
So that will do it for the interview portion of this night. And Zach, a very good race, very aggressive racing from what we saw here tonight. But all in all, I nothing too bad tonight.
I have no idea what you just said. You dropped me down into where you dropped me down to where all the drivers.
I moved you. Whoops. Okay. Basically, a very good race here tonight. Competitive, aggressive. Saw a lot of good moves. A lot of 3-wide racing. A lot of fun tonight.
Yes, it was a lot of fun, and it was great to be able to be back up here in the booth with you, Frank, and cover more SEL competition. Again, these guys are able to have enough funding to partner up and to produce 3 great quality races during the week. And it doesn't matter what kind of car they're in, they always seem to put on a good show.
Certainly do at that. And we'll take a look now at, as we get set to go to the next show, let's take a look at the finishing order here for tonight's race. Kevin West taking home his 5th win in 7 starts this season. Jarrett Bolyard, Taylor Liskowski. Rounding out your podium, Joshua Yarborough and Lilith Peters, your top 5. Ollie Marston, Will Salomon, Chris Vanderplatz, Derek Wegman, and David Hanna, your top 10. Jason Foskey, Greg Birch, Chad Jones, Justin Lewis, and Zach Archer will come home in your top 15. Justin Horton, Michael Matta, Wesley Hogue, Barrett Flo, and Todd Merkel, your top 20. Jason Crumley, Josh Tarrant-Hill, Kendall Kraft, Jonathan Casebeer, Bruno Latour, Gary Ragland, Shane O'Neill, and Todd Willis will round out your field here tonight. So, For my broadcast partner, Zach Woods, I am Frank Marchese. Thank you very much for making us a part of your evening, and we will see you all at Chicagoland next week. Good night, everybody.